huge mosquito. Ew. This miniature is not very good. I don't rate it that high. Hi, I'm Siana. If you don't know me, hi, I'm Siana. But if you know me, you probably heard this name hundreds of times. Kiki, the teacup chihuahua. Some people have different forms of comfort, such as sleeping, music, and even a hoodie. I've had Kiki since I was around 5 or 6, maybe even 7. This brain doesn't remember a lot when she was younger, okay? The moment I moved in with my dad, to be specific. My aunt, grandma, my dad, grandpa, I think I said my aunt, our little dog now, Yogi, who was around 12, maybe 15 at the time. I was now the new addition to the household. I was part of the family, but I didn't get to see them that often. I remember my mom was not able to take care of both me and the middle child now, who was my sister, just my only sister at the time, me being the oldest. So she had me move in with my dad and the rest of my family on my dad's side. I remember my dad came in, I think the night before I was supposed to come in and move in with them, and he opened the car door and he showed me this tiny little ball, and it was just hiding in the pocket of his sleeve. And I remember she was shaking, cold and fear, because probably midwinter, I'm not gonna lie. If I remember correctly, it was December. And I just see this tiny dog. He's like, yeah, this little dog, she's over here peeing in my car, but she's just nervous. And me being around 5 or 6, possibly 7, I didn't think too much of it. I just thought, oh, it's a dog. My brain couldn't really function what a dog was at the time. I was only used to having my dog Yogi. But the story behind why we got Kiki is a sad one. My grandma's dog, Cindy, Yogi's sister, had passed away from health problems, and my grandma was devastated. This was my aunt's way of trying to cheer my grandma up in these sad times. To say my grandma was happy is putting it lightly. She fell in love with Kiki on the spot. She took my aunt and Kiki to PetSmart and spent over $200 on her. I remember my aunt telling me about it. She was sitting in the kitchen, waiting for my grandma to show up, having this tiny little dog in her hands, literally the size of a teacup, because she was a teacup chihuahua. And she was just waiting, and my grandma comes in, she's like, what the hell is that? And she remembers my grandma being ecstatic and so happy over this cute little bundle of joy, who is now referred to as Kiki. As I go to lay down on the blanket, I see this tiny little thing. I'm like, what is that? Because as a kid, I didn't know what that was. No one explained to me what the logistics of it, other than the fact that there was this tiny little black dog that I seen like probably the night or two before. As I get closer, I realized, oh, that's our new dog. At the moment, I wasn't aware of her name, and that's when my grandma came to me and mentioned she hadn't picked a name yet. She asked if I had any ideas, and I asked. My grandma loved the name, and that's where it all started. The whole family loved her, and my dad would train her, though there were some issues, such as having to potty train her, getting her to be comfortable around our other dog, Yogi, who was probably 5 times her size, and she would always hide under the bed because she seemed to like enclosed spaces. We had boxes underneath the bed, which made it a really suffocating place to be in, since essentially it was just a maze down there of boxes, and it was really hard to find your way out. Considering she is a teacup chihuahua, she was extremely small, so we had to put a cat collar on her. And it had to have a bell or some sort of thing on it just to make sure that we could hear her. Nevertheless, no matter how upset she was, she'd always come with me. Whether she had to take a bath, get in trouble, wasn't feeling well, her escape and comfort was always me. And this went both ways between us, because soon enough, it was only us and my dad. Soon enough, my aunt got married and moved out. My grandparents passed away due to personal problems separately. This, along with other issues such as the troubled teen years and mental health issues, stress, and school, would get to me at times. Though no matter what happened, I realized she brought the most comfort to me, as she'd cuddle by my side through hard times, calming me down, and eventually pushing my issues aside and to focus on her cuteness. With time, she was now considered my dog, and she left a great impact on my life with the time I've had her. I'm coming home after science camp to see her frantically waiting for me on the couch, wagging her tail as she watches every movement I make, whining and waiting for my attention. It's moments like this that make those memories a lot stronger. She's made such a strong impact on me emotionally, growing-wise, and overall, a person to express themselves a little more. She's taught me how to calm myself in times where I've struggled, such as when I'm panicking over things, to take things slow and remember the good times. Though she can't speak, her presence was enough to distract me and got me to a calm point where I can start to relax a little more. She hears me and comes rushing as she whines, trying to get me to address my attention to her instead. Doing so distracts me from my other worries and focuses me on my lovable dog. As I pet her, she licks me and makes this noise that sounds like a deep, comfortable sigh as she lays on my chest against my side, and puts her head on me as she stares at me, making sure I've stopped crying. Kiki has become a safe place for me. She's constantly tired, she's affectionate, she's caring. They say a dog is a person's best friend, and to me, she definitely is. I will cherish every moment I have for her. She's around 9 or 10 at the time, and to me, she's one of the most important things in my life. For the Warrior Times, this is Siana and Kiki.